What's up?
Welcome back. We have really fun things to talk about, mostly countertops, which is one of my favorite topics. So we're gonna really dive into that today, but as you can probably see that we have lighting, which is very exciting, but we're actually not gonna go over that today. We're gonna wait. We have a few fixtures that need to be replaced and then a few that have not been installed yet. So we're gonna wait for those last little installations and then we will go over a full lighting video another time. But today is all about countertops and floors, which is really exciting.
It is. Yeah, we got a lot of different countertops. We're missing one.
Just one.
But it's getting installed potentially during this video. So
yeah, so
we'll see.
Okay, so natural stone is one of my favorite things ever. I don't know, I just am so amazed that it comes from the earth. So anytime we can use a natural stone, we use a natural stone. So that would be like marble or quartzite. Typically we like to stay in the quartzite realm because marble is obviously the highest end, most expensive material to use on a countertop. Quartzite is a little bit.
It's a little above granite, but.
Right, so quartzite is still natural, but not as high end as marble. It's also easier to take care of.
And not to be confused with quartz, because quartz and quartzite are two different things.
So quartz is man-made. It is made to look like quartzite. Quartzite is the natural material that we just pull out of the earth. God makes it, and it's like, it's incredible. I'm just always amazed at what comes out of our ground. And then marble is a natural material pulled from the ground as well, just higher end. And then granite is also natural, just it kind of has like a bad
It's just not in style right now.
Yeah, it'll come back around, but granite I feel like people are using less and less granite, but it'll come back. Okay, so anyway, all that to say, these are our kitchen counters. This is a quartzite, so it's a natural material. It is called Taj Mahal. That's the name of it. Taj Mahal it can look wildly different. So some Taj Mahal is much more like creamy, white, has a lot more movement. Some of it is much more stagnant, has a lot of crystals. Like this one is pretty.
And you can see the movement and the crystals. You looked for a long time to get the slab that you wanted.
I did. I looked for a really, really long time. We love our fabricator and we love the warehouse that we get we source our stone from, but it took me a long time to find something that I was happy with, that had movement, but the colors I wanted anyway. There's such a broad range of colors and styles that come within Taj Mahal. So Taj Mahal can look really different.
Or pink.
Yeah, it can look pink, it can look brown, it can look white. But anyway, I'm really happy with the slabs that we landed on. We used 2 full slabs here in the kitchen and we probably should have had 3. It was like almost didn't fit. Right. But our fabricator's great and he made the 2 slabs work. These are polished, so that's just our personal preference. I'm talking about the top of the stone the finish of the stone is shiny. That you can get it honed, which would be matte. You can get it leathered, which would be matte with texture, the natural texture of the stone. We prefer polished. It's
cleaner.
In the kitchen, I like a polished finish because it just feels and looks clean. It's really trendy to do leathered right now, which there's nothing wrong with it. It's just it's a matte finish. You can buy a slab. So these slabs came polished. We could have, for additional cost, made it honed or made it leathered. And then once a stone is leathered, you can then pay to have it polished. So you can choose, it just costs. Anything the finish just costs more and more and more. So we stuck with the polished.
The OG edge.
We did an OG edge. So there's so many different types of edges you can do on a countertop. I mean, just Google, countertop edges. And there's like so many different things you can do. Also an additional cost. The normal, it's called an eased edge, is like standard, which we do that a lot. We've done that a lot throughout the house. But in the kitchen, I really wanted like a nice traditional decorative edge, which I think OG is pretty traditional. This is a large OG, so the space between the bowl and the edge right here is pretty wide. I like how it turned out. I think it's really beautiful. It's just, again, an additional little thing that adds an element of style. So, yeah, I'm just really pleased with how it turned out.
Put it in the backsplash as well, which we had to, if you look back on some other videos, you can see that we had to kind of disassemble some of our cabinets for that to get in.
Yeah, that was yesterday's problem, was how do we get the backsplash in the hood? We had to break the hood.
And then today's problem is fixing it.
Putting it back together.
But it's in, and we'll figure it out. And
this hole is for our pot filler, so they drilled a hole in that for the pot filler. Today they're coming to drill the holes for our bridge faucet. So yeah, it's really starting to come together. It looks really beautiful. I'm super happy with how it turned out. And one thing about natural stone that you don't really know until you get it in is like stuff like this little, I don't even want to call it like a discoloration. It's not, it's the way that God made this stone. So there's variation of color throughout, but that's what makes it, you know, this is real. So it's not man-made. It's not going to be perfect. And those are like the little things that I appreciate about natural stone.
Right.
It also will probably age over time.
She didn't appreciate it when she first saw it.
Well, at first I was like, ooh, look at that.
She's growing to appreciate it.
But that's just how it goes. And we also have like a little rust spot in that hood area. It's just, that's how it goes. You can't fix that. That's how the stone was made. And also natural stone will patina or age or discolor over time, which is part of having a natural material in your home. So I really, you just have to lean into that because quartz, something like quartz won't do that. So yeah. Okay, another thing we got to do, because we have a really great relationship with our fabricator, we get to really be hands-on in all the decision making. So we chose this portion of the slab to go here. He didn't just randomly cut on the slab and say, oh, this looks good. We got to choose that. We also got to choose the slab that we wanted for the island because it's a little bit brighter. So because natural stone has such a variation, if there's a part of the stone that you don't like and you have excess, you can say, I don't want that a part of, you know, my kitchen. And then if they can work around it, they'll just omit that. Right. You can also do like little things, which we did ask. I don't know if we're going to get them.
I don't know if we had any extra on this.
I don't know if we had any extra, but if you have, so when you purchase a slab, you buy the entire thing. So you buy this huge piece of stone, whether you use it all or not is up to how big your project is. But the remainder of the stone technically belongs to you. So you can ask for things like a turntable, like a Lazy Susan they can make out of your stone. So then you can put it here for like, you know, a decorative touch or for spices or whatever. You can also ask to have them cut like coasters or a cutting board slab to have an additional piece of your own stone. So there is things you can do to own the rest of your slab because you bought it. So little things like that.
And not every fabricator does it that way.
Yeah, you have to ask. But we love our fabricator. He's been really good to us over the years. So we can be like, okay, we want every square inch of this slab. So what else can we use with the remainder that's not like on the countertop? We also asked to do that in the bathroom. So we'll see. We'll see if we get that.
Yeah.
So that's
walking
just,
in front of me.
Oh, sorry. A little bit of how countertop shopping works.
Yeah.
I guess. Okay, so we're in my mom's kitchen. It kind of is a hot mess in here, so just like ignore that.
We're redoing the floors, so we're not worried about these floors, so everything's in here on these.
Yeah, but she has countertops. So for her kitchen, it wasn't in the original budget to replace her countertops, but as we got into the logistics of what she needed, like a dishwasher, and we've shown you in previous videos that we had to rip out the countertops and the backsplash in order to put
a dishwasher in. So
anyway, we went with quartz in her kitchen. It was just much more cost effective because it wasn't in our original budget. But quartz is still beautiful. There's really there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not, it's a man-made material. It's much more durable, doesn't stain as easily. It's pretty much indestructible. So that's a perk of having quartz. A lot of people really love that about quartz because they don't want the panic that they're going to...
There's no maintenance.
Yeah, there's no maintenance. They're not going to ruin their stone. You can ruin marble and quartzite pretty easily. So anyway, all that to say, we use quartz in her kitchen. It's called sugar. It
little
is
speckles of
there's like tiny
brown.
little specks in here, so there's a little bit of variation of color. It's not just like a flat white. This is an eased edge, so it's just like the standard edging on a countertop, and I think it looks really beautiful. It's like a clean slate. I'm really glad that we ended up needing to replace the counters because it just looks so much better than it did. And yeah, she's really happy with the way that it turned out. So
Yep.
it's good.
Looks good. So in here in the mother-in-law suite, we have red oak. They did have it was a manufactured red oak from the 90s. That it was a pre-finished floor that had a beveled edge, but it was solid red oak. And so we sanded the top of it off, and it turned out really nice. I think we did like a chestnut,
Dark
dark walnut stain on it, and it has a water-based finish. And yeah, they turned out great. We got everything out of it. There was a lot of imperfections on them. We were able to save this side of the floor from the flood of February or whatever it was.
Water damage.
When the water damage came through. And so it worked out great.
It really turned out so much better than I thought. I was kind of a little nervous.
Yeah.
They look beautiful.
Yeah, they're great. Look good. They run into here, down the hallway, and then up the stairs. And then we're doing an LVP in her kitchen, and then carpet in her bedroom and little living area. So that's that.
Okay, this is our primary bathroom. This is very exciting to me. We've never used a marble. He's never put a marble in a house.
I have put it in a couple houses, but not a lot.
Okay, so marble's like, obviously I explained earlier, it's on the higher end of the scale. Natural material. I love it. It's the most gorgeous. There's nothing like marble. You cannot replicate marble in any way. Like I can sniff out a fake in like 1 second. Marble is just, there's nothing like a real natural marble. So this is called Calcutta Corsia, I don't know, whatever, don't come for me. It's just, that's hard to say. But it turned out so good. So over here is where they've installed the shower surround. So we did trim pieces on the inside and on the outside. And then obviously we're missing a piece that's coming. So it goes all the way around. We also did on our bench, we did a seat of the marble, and then on the niche, we did a countertop ledge, which she can show you in a second. So this is just like, makes it so grand looking, looks so finished.
Yep.
I just love it.
Looks great. This.
Yeah, so we then also put it on the bathtub backsplash. We're missing some trim pieces, so those are coming in. This was also a situation where we picked out 2 slabs, and there was only 2 slabs of this in the whole like country. So there was no
in the region at least.
Yeah, I mean, I asked about possibly finding another one because getting all of this in with 2 slabs was super challenging for our fabricator. There was lots of communication over exactly what piece we wanted where. It almost didn't work, but I'm really, really glad that it did. So anyway, we got away with 2 slabs of this because that's all there was. So that's all we had to use, and we put it everywhere. And
it's everywhere in here.
Yeah, it is really obviously the focal point of this room. So it's here, and then it's obviously on our vanity.
Well, and it surprisingly kind of warmed up the room a little bit.
Yeah, so it did. It's making me not second guess, but it's making me look at the paint color a little differently, which, I mean, that's obviously, we can always address that later, but I feel like now that the marble's in here, I'm seeing that the room wants to be not this color anymore. So,
but it's going to stay
But it's going to stay this color for a while. Anyway, that's what happens when you don't, because we only had 2 slabs. There's no such thing as getting a sample. You can't get a sample of this marble and bring it into the space.
We took everything to the
We tried to take everything to the warehouse, to the slab, but the lighting in most warehouses is horrible. So it's very challenging to know how it's going to end up looking. But
I think it looks great.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean,
drop a comment if you think it looks bad or good.
But anyway, now that it's in the space, I can really play with color later on down the road. But I'm really, really happy with how it turned out.
Yeah. And then we also did the coffee bar. Well, you can see we got the double vanity here, and then there's a coffee bar right here that we put it down on as well.
Okay.
So on here, obviously this is a long vanity. I think it's about 11 and a half feet. The slab was only 10 feet or 9.5 feet long. And so we do have a seam right here through the middle of the sink, but they did a pretty good job kind of putting it where it needed to be so it's not super noticeable.
Okay, so we are upstairs in our laundry room. This way is my closet, and that way is like the extra bedroom wing. So in here for countertops, I really, really love how these turned out. This is quartz. So this is the man-made material, which we don't use very often. But because this was a secondary space, we weren't really willing to spend the extra money to get a quartz, and definitely not a marble, just because this is a secondary space. We see it, but no one else really sees it. But I still wanted something pretty. So anyway, we chose this quartz. It's called Formosa Gold, I think. It has a very subtle veining in it. And it turned out really good. I like it a lot. I'm surprised at how much I really like this. We did an eased edge all the way around. So this is just like the standard edge. But then because this room is so plain, I wanted a little personality in it. And because we're not doing upper cabinets, I wanted something decorative. So we did this really cool backsplash piece. So this is the sink, and then this is the faucet that will be installed. So it's like essentially like a little ornament piece for the faucet. It's so cute. So you can do stuff like this with countertops to add personality to a room without doing an edge that's more expensive, or without doing like a really high-end stone. You can make it have a personality. I sent some drawings over to our fabricator for this, and we kind of texted back and forth about the shape, the size, and I just think it's so cute. Also, I love that you can see this piece all the way down these doorways. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 doorways that line up. So when you turn the corner into our master bathroom, or bedroom, I'm sorry, you can see this piece. So it's just like a nice little moment. I love it. Okay, so as far as design elements for this room, it's very much on phase 2. We're not finishing this room out completely. The floors are done, obviously, cabinets are in, counters are in, everything will function, but we're not gonna be painting these cabinets for a while. They're not gonna stay white, they will be painted. I'm not really sure what yet. I've thrown out accessible beige, which is our kitchen cabinet color. It's just like a beautiful neutral beige. So that could be an option. Anyway, our floors, you've seen, they're checkerboard. They're that like beige and cream, beige and cream. Yeah, checkered. I have ordered some wallpaper samples to just like get a feel for how they're looking. I'm leaning towards something neutral, but again, this is just very much, we're in the very beginning stages of this design. So I don't know what the personality is yet, but we have some options, which I think will be cute.
So we were over here the other day with Kendall's mom, and Kendall's got some crazy flower people going on the wallpaper in there.
In the closet.
Is it not flower people?
Yeah, yeah.
They're like dancing and partying or something. And her mom was like, what about if we did some bees in here? Well, there's gonna be a video soon, a bee video. But so I was like, yeah, we should put bees in here. And then she was even on board with it. And I haven't seen any bee samples yet.
So I guess now I need to search the internet for bee wallpaper, because he feels passionate about having bees in the laundry room, which I think is cute. It's like a funny little nod. We are planning on having like actual honeybees on this property. So that's kind of how it ties into our life. But anyway, so we'll see if that works out.
We'll see who wins. Yeah, I don't win any of these anymore, so anyways. So up here on the landing upstairs above the foyer, we had, this was here. All of this woodwork, it's beautiful, and it's all made out of cherry wood. This is white oak. We decided to try to not match the floors, but just go totally different. So we did a country white and a weathered oak 50-50 with a water-based poly on matte finish on the floors throughout the house, through our portion of the house. And then this was actually, I took one of these to a paint store and had them figure out what the stain was, and we went back with the original stain of what they used in the 30 years ago on this. And I think it turned out great because it was just a hard contrast in between the two. I didn't want it to look similar, but I wanted it really different. So it kind of has a mahogany finish. And I think it turned out better than I thought it could have.
Yeah, me too. It looks really, really nice. Just with two different woods, you can't possibly make them look the same if you tried. So
Right.
I think leaning into making them look different was the key here, and I think it looks really beautiful.
Yeah, I thought it was red oak for the longest time, and then I called the guy that built this house. I got his brother's number and asked him, and he's like, "No, that's all cherry wood." I said, "Well, there you go. That's why nothing looks right with red oak." So there's a couple pieces we have to swap out that we put on to cap up some edges that were red oak, and we'll swap them back out to cherry.
Yeah. But when we go down the stairs, we'll show you. Now we can expose. We have had the stairs covered for months.
Right.
Now they're exposed. So we can show you like the details of the landings. Look really nice because now they're freshly stained and sanded.
They got a little dust on them now.
Well, now they're dirty, but they still look good. You can see. And then we can kind of show you how his office floors turned out because it's the only place in the house that we did the herringbone pattern on the floor, and it looks really beautiful with the stain.
It does.
This is my favorite stain on the floor. I feel like you do this a lot.
This is what I put in every one of our houses. I just think it pulls the natural color of the wood out.
Yeah.
And it's just a kind of a raw finish, but it's clean and looks really good.
Okay, so the only countertop in the house that we have not addressed is our powder bathroom. That's because it's not installed. But we can drop a photo on the screen of the marble we're using. We chose a remnant. So essentially that's like a scrap piece of stone. Because we have a great relationship with our fabricator, we can go to his scrap yard or remnant yard, I guess, and pick out stone that is kind of just like on the wayside. And so instead of it being wasted, we can use it for our projects because they're very small. So this powder bath got a remnant of viola marble, which is like that really beautiful purple, white. There's some yellows in there. And so that's gonna go on the dresser that I've been refinishing to be a sink. So it's a whole thing. It's been a whole like DIY putting lots of materials together, but I think it's gonna turn out really good. It's a very small space, so we had to go very small. So I'm like eager to see how it turns out and how it actually functions, but I think it's gonna be beautiful.
So we are today installing our horse fence. Not for horses.
Not for horses.
Just, that's what it's called. And so we're doing a 4-slat fence. It's going to
Which
be...
is like, if they don't know what that is, 4 horizontal. There we go. 4 horizontal slats of wood, and they'll be eventually painted black.
Yeah, they've got to age for a while because it's all pressure treated. And so we're doing that around the back. We already have fence on one side of the house that's in the trees. And then we're going to hook it around, go around to the front, hit the columns up front, and then do some additional for making our backyard.
Yeah, so we're like portioning off a little bit of the yard for our dogs. So they'll have like a more confined, safe area for them. Then we're fencing off the property line, and then we're also fencing off an area for a garden. So there's going to be definitely some... Eventually some areas, but they're moving so fast, I'm shocked.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of wild.
So yeah, it won't be black for a while, but at least it'll be up.
Yep.
So something super exciting, which I've already shared on some previous videos, that we were looking for antique doors for our pantry and for my closet. Well, we found them.
Yeah.
We were out of town last week on family vacation in Alabama. We found this antique shop warehouse.
Yep.
They have amazing antique doors. So we scored these 2 double doors for our pantry.
And it's the best parts.
Yeah, what sold us on these 2, because I mean there was like literally thousands, was these little trim details on the top of the door are the same trim details on the top of our windows on the exterior of the house.
Yep.
So it just was like, this is perfect. They replaced the glass for us. I got to pick out the style of glass, which was really fun. They replaced it in like literally minutes. I'm just like so excited. This type of stuff, when you take the time to source details like that, adds such an element of character to a home, makes it feel lived in, makes it feel relaxed, nods to the style of the home. So we do have to cut them down a little bit.
Just on the sides.
On the sides,
about a 1/2 inch.
to make them fit in the doorway. So these 2 will be on a swivel, so they'll be swinging for the pantry.
Saloon doors.
Saloon doors, yeah, back and forth. And then I'm gonna try to source an antique knob to just like add a nice little decorative detail, probably brass. So I'm just really, really in love with these. I'm so glad that it worked out. We also found one for my closet. So it's the door from my closet to my laundry room. It's a solid door, so it's not a double. And
it was a double. It was put together. So all of these doors come from North Africa. They were from like the late 1800s. North Africa is getting rejuvenated, and they don't throw anything away. So they're reusing. They're selling these things.
Yeah. So the guy sources them all. Yeah. Anyway, so the closet door was 2 double doors. They put them together to be a solid door. So that one's going to go upstairs, and I also need to source a doorknob for that, but it's so rich in character. I really, really love it. I think it's going to add such a decorative touch. So add antique doors to your house because it's beautiful.
Yep.
Okay, so another thing that we're doing this week is replacing all of the doorknobs, interior doorknobs, to this black square. Obviously, there's a bajillion different doorknobs that you can do. We chose the black. We're also going to replace the hinges to match, so those will get replaced too. And then some places in the house we might replace them to be gold, depending on the whole design of the room, but the base color for the house is black, which I think helps ground everything. And I just think it looks very traditional with this little edge detail. I like it. Okay, thanks for joining us today.
Yep.
That's all we have right now, but next time we will have a full lighting video, which is very exciting. We will go over all our plumbing fixtures, and
we're pretty much
that's
there.
Like kind of it.
Yeah, we're almost there.
We're almost there.
There's a lot of little details that we got to get ironed out. But
yeah, and we'll share, like, obviously when the wallpaper goes in, we'll share all the things, but we're dwindling down on our checklist, which is amazing. Yeah. But anyway.
So hit that little like button and subscribe at the bottom of the page. We would really appreciate it. And see y'all next time.